We're here to talk about property management today, specifically talking to those investors who have property or have thought about buying property, and really what property management does once you've purchased the property. So let's say you're an investor and you want to go out and buy a single family residence. What does property management do? And how do they make their money, or how do you pay them? And so, full disclosure, I do own a property management company that is separate from my real estate company. And so, some of the investors that I work with to purchase a property, we're talking to them as well as what they can get for rent once they've purchased that property. We're doing analysis. A very popular term in the investor world is cap rate. Essentially, a cap rate is what kind of money can I get in return for the money that I'm investing into this. So what does a property manager do? Now, if you've ever rented property, you may know a property manager as someone that you send a check to. But property management is much more than that. So property management, let's say you just purchased a house in Coeur d'Alene, and now it's empty. Now you need to find a tenant, get the tenant in there, and get it going. Property manager, a good property manager, is going to offer quite a bit of services, some a la carte. Some property managers offer different opportunities, charge different fees for these types of things. So I won't get into specifics on the actual cost of it. We will talk about that in maybe another future video. So essentially, you've got an empty house, and now you need to fill it. So a property manager is going to give you an idea of what you could command for rent. Obviously, we'd all love to make as much as possible, but the market will only bear so much. And I think that there's quite a bit of conversation that you could even have around rents. Sometimes if you are searching for that top dollar rent, you're going to have fewer tenant possibilities. And when you have fewer tenant possibilities, you have less to choose from. And so you might be finding yourself going with someone, forced to go with someone, and that might not be the ideal tenant. Finding a good balance between maximizing your rent and maximizing how many people you have to choose from is great. So let's use $2,000 as an example. If we felt that your property could rent for $2,000 a month, and we put a price tag of $2,500 a month, we might find some tenants that are interested in that, but it'd be very few based on this current market right now. And those few are coming to you for some reason. For some reason, they are not able to get normal rents somewhere else, if you're tracking with what I'm saying. And that could be background checks are coming back bad, or credit checks are coming back bad, or they smell funny, or whatever else it might be. So you take that same house and you put it on the market for $2,000 a month rent. You could get some good interest if you nail it right now. There's a good, decent demand in North Idaho for rentals. And you're going to see the market is going to tell you where your rental amount is. Now, let's say you shave that down to $1,850 a month. You're going to get a lot of applications. And that gives you the ability to choose the best person for your situation. Means you might get someone, you now can choose someone with the highest credit score, the best background check, the best fit for your house. So sometimes taking that rent down just a little bit gives you more options to choose from. Now, obviously, everything's got to be fair housing, right? We can't go picking people because of familial status or handicap status, religious status. All the fair housing still comes into play. But when you have more people to choose from, that just gives you more options and better results in the end. So we we make sure that the home is safe. We advertise it for sale. We bring in some tenants, and then we do the background check, credit check. Now, I think that it's very important to do that piece. It gives you lots of insight into what your next year, 2 years, 5 years is going to be with that particular tenant or tenants. For me, I think that it's also very important, whether it's in real estate or in property management, to actually physically meet with the person. You will get a lot better gut check, if you will, when you meet someone in person. No doubt, I love that part of anything, real estate especially, but tenants. So now you've found the right person. There's a lot that goes into the financials of property management. If you're an investor and you're looking for a good property management company, the property management company should have their game together with the financials. You need to have a separate trust account for the security deposit, a good way to collect rent. Some people are still doing it the old-fashioned way. Hey, give me a check, and that works good. But I will tell you that a lot of tenants nowadays want digital options. A good property management company should also offer you some form of statements, depending on what you want. Monthly statements, yearly statements. If not a lot is going on, monthly statements, they can just be kind of a nuisance. If your accountant obviously requires something like that, great. If you've got, let's say, a multi-family situation, you've got more than 4 doors, it might really be a good idea to get monthly statements just so you can see what's happening. Because depending on what your setup as is, the property manager covering your utilities that you need to be paid, repairs that get done, vacancy, occupancy, all of that, right? But if you've just got a single family residence, monthly statements just might be kind of more a nuisance than anything. Year-end statements are almost always imperative for your accountant to do taxes. And that statement's going to show any repairs that you did to the house, any income that you had, any fees that you paid to the property management company. And they might even require that, like if you're doing a mortgage on the house, that you get some type of a mortgage statement so that you can show how much interest you've paid and or taxes have been paid on the property for the year. So now you're bopping along, you're in month 3, month 4, and the toilet clogs. So now what happens? Well, depending on what your agreement is with your property manager, the property manager may be in charge of calling you and saying, hey, just wanted to let you know, toilet's clogged. Most property managers have some form of or some leeway to do up to a certain amount of repairs without bothering the owner. At the end of the day, that's what a lot of property managers are hired to do, is manage the property. So they call the plumber goes out, unclogs the toilet. I will tell you that something is going to go wrong. Whether you own a home or you rent a home, something's going to go wrong. And that's what a good property manager does. Not only do they just call someone, but they've got a good book of business of vendors to call. The right plumbers, the right electricians, not someone that's going to screw you over, and advocate on your behalf too, right? I will tell you that over the years, I've had friends that have used property management companies that just took care of stuff, didn't tell them what was, and then all of a sudden they've got a $500, $600, $700 bill. They don't understand what it is. Maybe we could have got a discount on that. And so you need to have a good relationship, working relationship with your property management company so that you can know exactly what's going on. Now, we do a walkthrough at the beginning. So you've rented it out and the tenant's going to go through the house. I think it's imperative to do a 2-stage walkthrough, which means the tenant walks around. If you think back at the day, the old rental cars, you would have a checklist and you'd walk around the car and you'd write, there's a little nick here and a little scratch here, and dent here and things like that. A lot of property managers do that step. That is really important. I think a next level step is to, right after the tenant walks through and makes note about the scratches on the floor, or maybe a blind has some issues, or a door that's sticking, whatever the problems may be that the tenant brings up, I think it's good for a video walkthrough. I mean, you could take photos, that's great. I like video walkthroughs because I think it really shows everything. When I'm doing my real estate company, I do video walkthroughs for people that are buying from out of state, because I mean, the pictures show good, but a video walkthrough can really let you see the ceilings and everything that the photographer didn't feel was a good fit for the photos. So a good video walkthrough when you're moving in. Now, at the very end of the tenancy, the tenant is moving out. The property manager is going to walk around and check to see, hey, are these scratches in the floor new, or were they notated by the tenant when they moved in? Yep, scratches in the floor were already there, but this broken window here was not broken when they moved in. They didn't tell me about it. And now that's going to become something that possibly, depending on the scenario, the tenant might be responsible for, that might even come out of the security deposit. And also making sure that the home is clean. It should be clean for the next party. Should be just as clean as when you moved into it, right? And then shoot, if we're doing a video walkthrough when we move in, we should do a video walkthrough when we move out, at minimum, just for records purposes. And then it's back on to full circle. Now we need to advertise the home, and we need to promote it and find a tenant and do the vetting. So this is just an inside glimpse into property management. I've had a lot of questions from investors over the years of who do I know that does property management? I mentioned that I do property management as a separate business. There are some great property managers around the North Idaho area besides me, and across the country. But these are the minimum standards, in my opinion, of how a property management should be ran. If you've got any questions about purchasing an investment property, or you'd like to look into what it actually looks like to manage a property, don't hesitate to reach out. This is my real estate channel. I do run a real estate company. I'm happy to take the real estate hat off and talk to you with the property management hat on. At the end of the day, I'm just looking to add value. I hope this video brought some value. If you do find value in these videos, please smash the subscribe button. Give me a like, a thumbs up. Never hesitate to leave a comment down below. Love to do some more videos based on what you're looking for. BK knows the way.